Hi, folks. So excited to be here today. I love the concept of idea to action. If there's one thing that has really been a hallmark for me and my co-founder, it's been action. We've learned so much by just getting out there and doing. It was 2008. We were super frustrated with what we were doing, and we're both trained clowns, but we're also both engineers. And we were sitting there, and we were like, God, you know, out-of-home entertainment, it hasn't changed much for a little while. 2008, really frustrating, the financial crisis. We just wanted to get out and start doing something new. So we started collaborating, making interactive art. We pointed cameras and projectors at whiteboards, simple little interactives like this. We made arcade cabinets, but particularly focused on social, filled a room with fog and laser beams. One of my favorite things, my co-founder ended up meeting his wife in this thing, so I still feel like this is our most effective game. Even a big wall of buttons. And this was all really simple stuff, using the modern tech of the day, microcontrollers and whatever. But right about this time, we've been taking this stuff to parties and events, and this rock band reaches out and says, hey, we heard about this band of nerds in downtown LA, and we want to make this music video. Any chance you guys would be down to do that? We were like, oh my God, a rock band's reaching out to us? Absolutely. And so it started like this, and it ended like this. It was a huge Rube Goldberg machine, if you know what those are, the big sort of the mousetrap game, if you ever played that. And as this thing went crazy viral, we ended up with all these parents and teachers calling us, saying, hey, we used that in our physics class, and our kids were really inspired, and even the ones who didn't like science have been starting to get really into it. And we were scratching our heads. We're like, wow, we just made a music video, and it's like a learning tool? Wow, how cool. So we kept doing more stuff like that, big crazy stunts. We helped Chevy launch a car by literally bungee jumping it off a tower of shipping containers. My favorite part about this one, nobody got hurt. So kept doing a bunch of stuff. Finally said, hey, maybe we should turn this into a real company. We launched the Circus, and went on to just build a bunch of different kinds of attractions, what are now called escape rooms, a bunch of stuff in virtual reality for the Super Bowl and the Olympics. We even made a cloud that rains tequila for the Mexican Board of Tourism. Super random. But the thing that we were starting to sort of tap into is, what was it that was really important about now, this moment, right? Well, one of my favorite things is this picture, right? The bored millennials. These guys are at a state fair. They're at a state fair. They should be freaking ecstatic. And instead, they're on their phones and they're like, wah, wah, right? And so we were thinking, gosh, there's clearly been this like shift in mentality, right? People don't want to just be these like passive consumers of things. They want to be part of it, right? They want to be co-creators. They want to be active in the scene, right? And so even if they're not actually completely building it, maybe you've wave guided them to help be part of the creation. And the other one that was really shocking to us was this statistic, right? 65% of school children will be employed in jobs that don't exist yet. Now, the terrifying part for me, it doesn't mean the jobs will exist, right? So we were like, gosh, okay, so there's really, these two sort of intersecting trends. How can we do something about that? So by all intents and purposes, we're STEM nerds, right? My co-founder has a red mohawk, right? Was a professional whistler. We've got all these big nerds, right? STEM sort of didn't really capture it, right? And we sort of felt like, God, it's really got a branding problem. People think of this guy, and not that this guy's not super great and it did really wonderful things, but there's this person, right? Anouk Wiprecht. This sort of better captures what's possible with STEM. And the thing that we were really bummed about is most kids think of basketball players and DJs, that's stuff they can see and they want to go up and do that. But if they could see Anouk and be like, wow, she makes 3D printed incredible, outfits like this, like that's more rock star, right? So we got very excited about the term STEM plus art, use that creativity, use that design thinking, and then all the rest of it, all the hard sciences will sort of fall in line. Makes you think more of this guy, right? Leonardo da Vinci, not only an incredible engineer and an inventor, but an artist, and really spanning that whole piece. So we launched a carnival, a STEAM carnival. And the idea was one half high-tech entertainment, all sorts of big fun and games, and then the other half hands-on projects where kids could learn about science and engineering, and the message was, hey, we built all these games, it's not that hard, you can too, here's how. Just as a quick example, remember the old dunk tank where you throw a ball and you fall in water? We thought, water, it's okay. Fire, is awesome. And so ours is the dunk tank flambe. You throw a ball, you fall, and you're consumed in a fireball, but you don't die because you're wearing a fire suit. It was pretty funny. Our carnival was sponsored by IBM and Intel and a fire suit company. And we're getting ready to bring this thing to San Francisco, and we've got 120,000 square feet. And I call up the guy at the fire suit company, and I was like, hey, dude, we're getting ready to go to San Francisco. Any chance you have those in kid sizes? He was like, what? No, kid sizes, I don't have them in kid sizes. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right, we don't want to do that, okay. But so, you know, it really does consume you, you don't die, not a lot of nice theater. And this is maybe my favorite photo in our whole canon, right? This kid's never gonna forget that. You know, we despite getting really a ton of visibility, we wrote a whole curriculum so that teachers could work on projects before coming to the actual event. We finally decided, like, gosh, you know, to be a for-profit and operating in education really has lots of ways in which that doesn't work. So we launched a foundation, and the 2-Bit Circus Foundation is entirely devoted to this entire program. And then as a company, we sort of sit at that intersection of those two things. And so we have a full stack replacement for the science fair. Kids learn STEAM, building their own games. We train the teachers. We provide a bunch of consumable waste material as the actual assets, the physical tools that they use. And then they learn business, throwing their own carnival. More exciting than the science fair, raises money for the school, engages the community. Nobody has to make a baking soda vinegar volcano. It's awesome. We've got a huge warehouse in Gardena. All the local companies provide tons of their clean waste, extra clippings from cardboard and whatever, and then that stuff becomes the projects. This is an example of their sort of STEAM lab tools also. We've now exposed almost 300,000 students to this. It's pretty crazy. We've trained almost 5,000 teachers, stopped 500 tons of garbage from going into landfills. So it's really, really starting to work. We're getting ready to do maybe our biggest thing yet, which is we're opening an amusement park in downtown LA. What I really like to think of as like a new community center. There's no term for this, but the idea is pack a ton of technology, virtual reality, augmented reality, an entire interactive supper club, all into a 50,000 square foot complex. And if things go the way that I want, it will be open 24 hours a day. Lots of different kinds of platforms, but every one of these open source so that kids can build their own stuff to be able to deploy inside of these games, learning about fabrication, CNC and tool use, learning about electronics and programming. So lots of different kinds of elements to it. And then the aspects of it sort of go in both directions. The software that's made by the team gets open sourced into the curriculum. The creations that come out of the carnival land inside the park, and the various games that are there and being used by adults at night are there as school programs during the day, so that while all of us are there at night playing Jeopardy, during the day that Jeopardy content is replaced with STEAM-aligned curriculum. So I'm talking super fast, and I can't believe it. I actually have 2 minutes left. I really was worried about that. At any rate, that's it. I guess I'll keep us ahead of schedule. So thanks so much.